screen anymore. There it is. Alma.
All right. Starting this off on Saturday Sit Downs, we're listening to Frameworks. It's the song that, well, we found through Cello Joe's recommendation. Joey, how'd you find Frameworks?
I sat in with Frameworks at Lightning in a Bottle a couple of years ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds very chill. It's actually a playlist called Chill at Home.
Oh yeah.
Those chimes in the background, I'm not sure if you guys hear that. That's actually, it's windy at my house with some chimes. I thought being outside in a chillax environment might help this session a little bit. I'm gonna turn this up so you guys hear it really nice and clear. Epic. I love it, man. So one of these things about this music that I thought would be cool is being able to, actually, Joey, are you listening to that?
Yeah?
Yeah, please don't do that because we hear it in our live feed.
Oh, I was just testing whether I could download this song. I can.
Yeah. So one reason why we're doing this listening session is training our ear, right? So one of the things that we want to do is start training our ear. It looks like one more person is trying to get into our session. Is that possible?
Watch out, it's a Zoom bomb.
Zoom bomb. Hey, watch out. All right. So we're back here. So Joey, let's talk about this song a little bit. Are you still hearing it or no?
No.
All right. So let's turn it off for a second. So listening to the beat of that, what do you like about it? Using your musical ear, what are you liking about Frameworks and what he's doing?
Well, he makes good use of creating space where a lot of instruments drop out for a while and then they come back in.
Yeah, with some like sustained something beneath it or even on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of compression, limiters.
I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe after listening to it just for a little bit.
Totally.
It not maybe start it from the beginning.
Yeah, let's listen one more time here. Share with sound.
By the way, I was gonna say, I put in the chat with you. One of my friends, Preacher, told me about this site. It's called myfreemp3.best, and it's a little bit illegal, but you know, for research purposes, you can go there. And I typed in Alma Frameworks, and it came up with the track. It's a Frameworks remixed. IL:LO is maybe the original artist, or Alma is the original artist. I don't know. But then you can download the MP3, and then you can put the MP3 in Ableton, and then you can look up what the BPM is, or you could actually just tap tempo it and try and get it to set the tempo on Ableton. And I've seen a lot of people do this, where you put the song in Ableton and you look at the waveform and you put where the markers are.
Mm-hmm.
You put markers like, for this is the intro, this is when the first section starts, this is when the B part is, this is where the bridge is, and you can see how many bars they're actually doing for each
segment of the
song. And then what I see what a lot of people do is they'll find a song they like, they put it in Ableton, they put the right tempo, and they map out the song. And then you can even just change the tempo in Ableton to what you want your song to be at. Like, say this song was at 80 and you want to do a song at 100. With Ableton's warping, you can map out the song with it at 80 and then just change it to 100, and it'll keep the sections in the same places for your song and
Totally.
play the song back faster. But anyway, it's a really smart way to create works based on works that are already made, and it's a great way to, well, I heard Ahi talking about this, Chris Adams, and I've also heard Subaqueous talking about this, where if you were a painter back in the Renaissance, you learned by going to a place where there was a painting that you liked, you brought your painting stuff, and you just copied exactly what you saw. And all the way up until Picasso, Picasso said the same thing. He copied thousands of paintings before he started doing his own stuff, like his cubism and all his other things. And so the sit down sessions is a great idea to like really notice what other artists are doing and then just trying to copy them.
Totally. And you mentioned Subaqueous, Isaac Kotek, and he actually is somebody that gave files at the Solar Sound program where it had many different styles of music, and it was laid out in Ableton and color coded of the verses and how long the verses and the choruses were. He even had the song by Queen, what's that really, Bohemian Rhapsody was in there, and it just showed how ridiculous like their organization was and how amazingly different it was from any other song structure. And he actually is going to be featured for a Sunday session with SF Garnish on April 26th. So if you are wanting to get some one-on-one time with Isaac in a small group setting and ask him questions specifically and download some of his packs, etc., he'll be with SF Garnish then. But let's get back to what you were talking about, Joey, and just reiterating being able to grab the MP3 however you want to do it, whether you download the song on the person's Bandcamp or stream it through how you grabbed it, bring it into arrangement view you're mentioning, and then color coding the verse, chorus, and bridge in specific ways. So
using locators in live.
Yeah. And I just want to do a demo really quick because right now everyone's looking at my Spotify. And let's go ahead and share specifically a Ableton session and just kind of do a demo of what you were talking about here. So really having different clips, right? And color coding these clips differently. Actually, let's really make that clearly different color. And then naming each section, right? This would be our verse, right? And then naming our chorus. And you'd be making this to match the song that we were seeing in Framework. So Framework song would be listed right below it right here, right, Joey?
Yep.
And this way you could actually say, you know what, I like what Framework did, but I want to extend my verse and make my first verse longer, and then my chorus shorten it a little bit. And you can have that flow and improv and creativity yourself from there. So there we go.
I just sent you the Songwriting Solar Sounds Ableton set.
Nice. And this is in our Zoom call?
It's our Zoom chat.
Zoom chat. Okay.
I don't know if it's going to work because I couldn't send the project info.
Interesting. But I mean, it's MP3. I'm sorry, it's MIDI, so it should be a very small
it's file. A very small file. But there are some samples.
Yeah. It looks like, yeah, it just downloaded. And I will open it right now and just let's look at what we were talking about from what Isaac was saying. And he can go more in depth with this on Sunday the 26th probably too. So Let's see here. I want to do zoom audio output.
Dude, guess what I did last night? I made a song with my own sample pack.
You did. Well, let's work on it on Wednesday, yeah?
You don't want to tease, you don't want a little teaser?
Let's tease it out a little bit. Okay, so I'm looking at a session right here. Are you seeing what I'm looking at?
Yep.
All right. It looks like we might need some of the sample packs. There's a couple missing offline, which I can just get in
Uh,
the future. But the pad and the brass, it's showing the MIDI right away. Um, and it's looking,
maybe that's the wrong one. I think I grabbed the wrong one.
yeah, this is looking like it's just it's showing a loop of something.
Okay, whoops. Sorry.
Yeah.
Where is that pack that he sent? Anyway, he's going to be sharing it on April 26th, which is real soon anyway, so.
Yeah, he's actually going into sound design and how he creates his VST plugins. So it's kind of a extensive workshop in Ableton, and it also crosses over to Logic and other DAW users.
Okay.
So let's listen to another track here. Are you down to do that?
Yeah.
All right. So let's go ahead and get back into Spotify. All right. So Delphini was playing. Let's just try and listen to that a little bit.
Noticing about this is you can really hear the side chain compression that he's using on it. His bass sounds that's letting the drums really come through.
Yeah, I almost hear like it some type of reverse drum leading to the kick. It's like listen to that.
There's also a lot of atmospheric sounds that give the recording presence, like sort of like a hiss sound, like that keeps swelling and going away. I don't know if you hear that. You hear that?
Yep.
It sounds like wind or something.
Totally panning left, right.
Oh, that one's over.
Nice. Yeah, a lot of side chaining going on. I'm always curious, like if he's doing this by just drawing it in, or does he have something that he can actually play? Sometimes you can have your side chaining going on, and when you play your keyboard, it cuts out this other instrument or this swelling sound, or maybe you play a note and it moves and it pans your instrument a different way. That's actually something that I'm working on right now, is using Clifex Pro. It's literally a $8 plugin, like 3 MB plugin, and it allows you to code into Arrangement View multiple different program changes. So when you go to your second program change, you can actually have it create the next track and pan an instrument and load up another effect chain, and then move that effect chain. So pretty awesome plugin. It is pretty advanced. I don't really think that anyone should use Clifex Pro unless you've probably been with Ableton Live for at least 3 years, pretty heavily.
How do you spell that? Clifex?
Clifex Pro is CLYPHX. And it's literally like a under $10 plugin that, you have to learn programming. You're in Arrangement View. And actually, I think it's on this computer. So when I go in Arrangement View, do you see how there's oh, sorry, you're not seeing my screen, are you?
No.
Okay, let me share my screen really quick. So because I've loaded this up, notice how when I go to something, see that red around the side?
Yep.
So that means that Clifex is engaged. And I could literally just create a new MIDI track right here and call it Clifex. It could be called anything because the code happens no matter what. And then what happens is when you create a MIDI here, you have to rename it to test, and then you put your brackets in here exactly how you're supposed to put it, and then you put your whole chain over here. It's like play track 1 and stop track 2 and then create track 3, and it does that for you. Um, and then this would be in a different mode. So this isn't actually playing a sound; it would just be an in mode going down. But I definitely encourage you, Joey, since you've been using it for almost 10 years. Like, I think that if maybe we could actually collaborate on creating a really good Clifex arrangement view live scene. Because one thing that I want to do with Ableton is listen to a track that I like, such as Frameworks or Tipper, and bring in that concept. Let's say we're at, we know that it was 100 BPM for um, that Tipper song, No Dice we were using, and
Mm.
then create off of that, knowing that what the tempo was and knowing generally what we want to get from it, but then having that creativity of putting our own instrument, right, our cello or beatboxing or voice in guitar to create it uniquely our own.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an idea I had. Have you heard of Clifex at all?
No.
Yeah,
Seems like it's like a dummy clip kind of thing.
kind of. Yeah. So this dummy clip can engage or disengage effects, change your monitor settings in auto or off. It can mute a channel, turn off on a channel. All these things that you wish that you didn't have to press like 10 buttons to do.
Yeah.
Clifex just does it with one click, and you just go to your next scene down and click it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That seems kind of useful for a live looping template.
Exactly. Yeah. So for live and also for creation too. If you're in the studio and you don't want to be there programming and doing all this back end work, you want to be creative on the front end. So it allows
So
you to kind of keep that creativity.
you could have a production template that has a bunch of clips in the Clifix channel that would allow you to do a whole bunch of repetitive tasks by playing a clip. It would solo certain tracks and mute other tracks, and is that what you're saying?
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and I was even thinking too that if you have like let's say you have 5 different songwriting or live ways of playing a song based on what you were initially talking about, which is like verse, chorus, and bridge happen generally in this way. Like always your third part or your beat drops off in your bridge and then it hits really heavy in your chorus. And when it hits heavy, you want your kick and your drums to come in with your drum bus side chain, and you want to engage that. But instead of having to go to that track and engage it, you just press the Clifex and it happens for you while you're recording the song live or in the studio. And you always have that like general flow happening. And eventually, when we get better at this, I think that we're going to be able to do small tweaks. We're going to be like, oh, if only my chorus actually dropped lower, right? And then my verse had the big beat somehow. We could actually change our volume of our chorus down in the drums or whatever is hitting the most, and create that as our sixth scene or our sixth session of Ableton live. These are ideas that what's great about you and me, Joey, is that we've been talking about this stuff for many years, and you have actually created some awesome live looping scenes. I did check it out. It was pretty complex, so I never really got into utilizing it live. But you were using it live, right? For a
Yeah,
while.
I used it live for a while.
Why do you stop?
I stopped because it was too many things to plug in, like to take to every gig and plug in. And the computer overheated a couple times when I was playing outside and the temperature was hot. And I had my CPU meter over 100% and like the sound was all glitchy. And I said, you know what? This is not cool. I don't want to be at a big gig and have my computer not work because it's too hot.
Totally. Yeah. So we
And
should.
now that I've seen what a lot of other folks are doing, it makes way more sense to just spend the extra amount of time in the studio and try to get a 45-minute or hour worth of really solid original material, and then just basically have that material on a USB drive or two and use CDJs and get good at mixing between the tracks that you have, and then just have your live instrument on a totally separate mixer, just going in straight live, like using the Voice Live 3 for delay and reverb and other effects on vocals and instrument, but having a backing track that works off of, either you could play it off your computer or you could put it on a USB drive. It doesn't really matter. It's good to have both. But that's what everybody is doing, and it makes way more sense.
Yeah, there's less crashing going on with the live set.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a like as far as everything's gone with technology, there's always that
And
fear of bringing so much in and then it crashing, and then you have to completely change your live thing that you're expecting to work and do
yeah,
something totally different.
I just prefer a hardware looper. I switched to a hardware looper because I've only had them fail a couple times, and when it did, it was like, oh, the actual hardware has got too much Burning Man dust in it, and it's done. Like it needs, I just need a new one of these. It wasn't like the computer overheated. It was like the thing was dead, and I feel like that's a little bit more forgivable if you show up to a gig and your hardware looper is not working. It's like, well, it's actually just broken. Whereas if you show up and your computer's not working because it's too hot, that just I don't like that scenario.
Yeah. Well, something that I would like to figure out is how can we rely on Ableton for our live set and utilize it to to the capacities that it can function with. Obviously, maybe that session was too complex and your CPU couldn't manage it. Um, so it might be that we just have like an A B track pre-recorded, and they're separated into. It's not a 45-minute track, but it's actually separated every 3 to 5 minutes, so that your CPU doesn't have to read something so big at any one point. Maybe we're only limiting to two live, right? Maybe vocal and cello, two
Mm-hmm.
live tracks, um, and your two tracks A B that are be able to, pan between. Also use your DJ effects on for your live set. And then how do you loop? It's like, do you loop with your external hardware gear, which we do currently, right? Or actually we both use the TC Helicon Voice Live 3 right now.
Yep.
Um, are you using the Boss still? The Boss 300?
I busted it out. I haven't actually plugged it in or used it in a long time.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I'd really encourage you to try out the MIDI or the USB sync to the tempo in Ableton to the Voice Live 3, because it allows you to loop in tempo with all your backing tracks or your beats. And then you can even change your tempo and create a new loop at the next tempo up, etc. It's pretty
Yeah.
amazing. I do want to eventually loop within Ableton because I want to change my tempo during a song and have my loop move with it, which
Mm-hmm.
the Voice Live 3 is not doing that. I have to stop and start over again.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm glad we have this sit down, because like we could go into like listening and chill session, and then we can go into technology and like how do we create that for our session, for our live. show or in studio work and our flow in that way. And that's really why we're doing these Saturday sit downs. Um,
You know
hopefully
who
we
I
can.
really want to know how he does what he does is Porangui.
Yeah, we should get him on here with us. Let's contact him to do a Saturday sit down with us because I went and checked out his gear and he had an XR18. By the way, you can go to porangui.com and or Parangi. Sorry if I said his name wrong. Um, and on his back page, it shows all the gear he's using.
Oh, really?
I think I told you this one time.
His
You
back
check that
page?
out.
What is that? What is that?
So let's see here. I should just go on to.
Porangui? Porangui. I think it's
Yeah, let me.
Porangui.
It is. I'm gonna go. Let's see. Google. I'm gonna share this so you guys can actually see. So this is the artist that we're talking about right here, and let's see here.
Oh, he's playing at Lucidity, November 6th.
Wow, his website's really changed. Maybe he doesn't have it up here anymore. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, his website used to have a page where it showed all the gear and how he was using it. Um, that's unfortunate if it's gone. I did copy that page down, so maybe I could put it up as a little test. But he had the XR18, which was cool to know that's the same gear that both you and I use. Um, what else? Yeah, his looping setup, he had the Boss 300 in front of him, and he was able to do some DJ effects on his loops
Oh, the
that were
Boss
similar.
the Boss 300 does have built-in DJ effects.
He had an iPad controlling it though,
What?
and
I
I'm
think
thinking,
his iPad is controlling his mixer.
yeah. So I think he had some effects in his mixer, but he might have had a a MIDI something controlling. I think there's some plug-in MIDI apps out there that are doing some pretty cool DJ effects, similar to what's in Ableton, and it might be a way to help with the CPU, right? It's like you're not even using the computer at that point. You're just, utilizing the XR18 potentially and controlling either something in there or externally. Wow, totally changed. His website looks a lot cleaner than it ever has. But unfortunately, the goods are gone.
Eh, you can use the Wayback Machine.
What's that?
It's part of the Internet Archive. They archive every website, and you can just look at this website from a year ago or
Oh, no way. So, how do you do it?
well, you have all your stuff on archive.org, don't you? Just type in Wayback Machine,
Wayback Machine on.
Internet Archive. It's archive.org/web, and then you can put in a browse. You put in a website, and then you can browse a history of that website, and you can look at it what it looked like in 2018 or 2008 was when it first started.
Okay. Wow, that is an incredible tool. All right, let's see if this works. Oh my gosh, it looks like the history of it.
Saved 139 times between June 7th, 2008 and March 8th, 2020. So you could look at like December
Hey,
10th.
2018 probably.
Yeah, I
I
don't
think
know.
it's. Let's try this out. Wow.
Wow, in 2017 it looked way different.
So
He had it on Weebly.
really,
Yeah. And now it's hosted on Unknown. I don't know. Doesn't really say where it's hosted.
wow, Joey, you sure do know a lot about this stuff.
What about the Wayback Machine?
Well, just like, yeah, how to, it's like, if only we knew how to get into the thing. And it's like, oh yeah, just do this thing, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've heard of other people using it. I've actually never really used it.
It looks like I'm already in 2019 and it's already changed to the new website.
Okay.
So I'm going to try to the end of 2018 as a last little effort here. And I actually have to get going pretty soon here, Joey.
Me too.
Yeah, but this is good. We got a little songs from Frameworks. Thanks for um, recommending that artist. We also mentioned another artist, Sabaquius, and Isaac Kotek is his name, from Oregon. And he just happens to be a guest workshop presenter for us April 26th. And if you want to join that, please contact us at sf@garnishmusicproduction.com or go to our website and workshops. Um, yeah, it looks like this page here. Are you seeing what I'm looking at? It looks like it's like
Really janky?
really janky, and it's like it's kind of getting the old version, but kind of not.
Yeah, it's because that's just the Wayback
Yeah,
Machine's capability.
that's cool though that there's an option for it. All right, so let's take it out here, Joey, with a little run through of our next session. Joey just came out with a new pack. Can you talk about it, Joey?
Sure, it's called Cello Joe Beatbox and Cello, and it was produced by Chris Ahi Adams, and it has a lot of beatboxing samples and a lot of cello samples, and they're all um, labeled and with the BPM and the key, so it makes it really easy to use them. And just last night, I was using my own sample pack to make some music, and I just put up an image. I shared my screen, and this is what the sample pack looks like on Splice. It's put out by Dome of Doom down here.
Splice.com. It's a sample
Splice.com.
pack area.
Yep. So that's going to be very exciting when that comes out. See what people create with that. Splice is very inexpensive. I think it's $8 a month, and you can download 100 samples a month. And if you don't use them, they carry over to the next month. So I made a little something with my own sample pack.
If you want to demo it as our way out, you can share your Ableton and we'll just play that as we finish up here.
All right.
Yeah. So if you guys want to learn more about Cello Joe, and actually, can you pause it for 1 second, Joey?
Yeah.
If you want to learn more about Cello Joe and our collaboration, you can check it out on Wednesday at noon. We're going to be working on some Ableton tracks then, and you can kind of get some pointers on what we've been doing in production throughout the years. And we're looking forward to teaching in person again whenever that happens, hopefully in June or July. And we'll take it out from there. SF, Garnish Music Production. Go ahead and play it, Joey, and we'll just be silent listening on the way out.
All right.